You know, we all depend on a system that is so complex, so high-tech, it's almost magic. But today, we're going to talk about where it all started. And believe me, the origin story is so incredibly simple, it's almost funny. We're talking about a man, a wheelbarrow, and the very unlikely birth of air traffic control.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Picture any major airport. You've got this constant stream of planes landing, planes taking off, all jockeying for position. So how in the world do you safely manage all of that traffic on the same little strip of pavement, sometimes just seconds apart?
Well, today, the answer is this incredible, mind-boggling web of radar, GPS, and instant digital communications. But back in 1929, the answer was a red flag, a green flag, and a beach umbrella. Seriously, the leap from that to this is just wild. So let's rewind and see how it all went down.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It's the 1920s. Aviation is the new big thing. It's exciting, but the airfields, they were pure chaos. No system, no one directing traffic. It was basically a dangerous free-for-all for these early pilots.
So the very first solution was, brilliantly simple. It was born out of total necessity. The idea was, hey, let's just put one person out there on the field where they can see everything and just have them use colored flags to tell the pilots what to do. It was the first attempt to bring some kind of order to the madness.
But that brings up a pretty interesting question, right? If you're going to create a job that has literally never existed before, a job where you're standing in the middle of an airfield with planes whizzing by, who on earth do you even hire for that?
So our story really kicks off in a very specific place, at a very specific time, 1929, the St. Louis Airport in Missouri. They were dealing with this growing chaos and decided, okay, we have to do something. So they did something nobody had ever done before. They hired the nation's very first air traffic controller.
And the man who got that job, the man who was literally the first of his kind, a pilot by the name of Archie League.
Now, Archie's resume was, well, it was one of a kind, mostly because there was no typical for this role. He'd been a barnstormer, a stunt pilot. He was a mechanic. He'd even run a flying circus. This guy didn't just understand planes. He lived and breathed that chaotic, seat-of-your-pants world of early flight. He was the absolute perfect guy for a totally unconventional job.
And if you think his resume was unconventional, wait till you hear about his office. Forget a glass tower with radar screens. Archie League's office was a wheelbarrow.
Yep. Every single morning, he would pack up his entire mobile command center right into that wheelbarrow. He had his folding chair, some water, a notepad, his lunch, and of course, the most important tools of the trade, a red flag and a green one.
And here's the best part, a quote from a report at the time that just paints the perfect picture. It says, he controlled air traffic from a wheelbarrow on which he had mounted a beach umbrella. Can you just imagine that? He'd wheel this whole setup out to the runway, pop open the umbrella, and just get to work. What a sight that must have been.
So, okay, as charming and amazing as this whole story is, you have to ask, was it actually effective? Well, the answer is kinda yes and kinda no. It was definitely flawed, but it was an absolutely crucial first step.
The system itself couldn't have been simpler. He waves the green flag, that means you're good to go, take off or land. He waves the red flag, that means hold up, stay put. Simple, direct, and hey, it was a huge improvement over nothing.
But yeah, the drawbacks were pretty obvious pretty fast. A pilot coming in for a landing would have a really hard time even seeing this one guy on the ground. And what happens if two planes are coming in at the same time? He can't give them different signals. There was no way to even know for sure if a pilot saw the flag. And of course, the second it got dark or the weather turned bad, the whole system was completely useless.
And yet, and this is the amazing part, despite all those flaws, it worked well enough that other big cities started to notice. They saw the value in it, and pretty soon, they started hiring their own guys with flags. Archie League's little wheelbarrow operation actually became the blueprint for the entire country.
And as for Archie, he didn't just invent the job. He dedicated his entire life to it. His career in air traffic control lasted for 36 years. Can you just imagine the changes he must have seen? From sitting in a wheelbarrow with two flags to the dawn of the modern high-tech system we know today? What an incredible legacy.
So there you have it. That's the journey. From one man with two flags to a global network that safely guides thousands and thousands of planes through the sky at any given moment. After a century of that kind of unbelievable progress, it really makes you wonder, what could possibly be next?